Lafayette's real estate market is changing so fast. Between inventory prices and new developments, you need to keep up with what is going on, and I am here to tell you exactly what will be happening all through 2025. Today, we're breaking down 4 key trends that define Lafayette's real estate market so you can stay on top of everything that's going on before everyone else catches on. If you're looking to move to Lafayette within the next 24 months, or maybe you're an investor that's looking for a hot next area to invest in, this video is going to be for you. Let me break it down for you. All right, so make sure you guys stick around because at the end, we are going to share a free Lafayette market report with all the latest home price trends, inventory updates, and investment insights. So make sure you don't miss that. Now, let's go into the market update and talk about some of the predictions or the things that we're seeing across the area. First, let's talk about the home forecasting that we see, or the things that are on the rise. Well, we're expecting about a 9% increase in existing home sales and an 11% increase in new construction in 2025. Again, these are just things that we're forecasting, but what we're seeing as far as builders, the trends that we've seen over the past year, it really has truly been a good thing for the new construction sector. We've seen actually existing home sales were actually down last year, but we've seen new construction sales were actually on the rise. So we know that people are looking for new construction properties. So it's a big opportunity for builders, and a lot of these other new properties, developers, things like that are very excited about the new construction sector. So we love to see that increase. Of course, the mortgage rate projection for the year. It's been interesting, right? Everybody thought that the rates were going to come down a lot last year, and we actually didn't see them move very much at all. We actually ended the year on a high note where the rates had actually gone up past 7% again. And now currently, as I film this video, the rates are back down in the sixes, the high sixes. So we've seen a little bit of reprieve, but not as much as everyone was hoping for. Really, we're just looking for stabilization through 2025, and that's what we think we're going to see. It's possible by the end of 2025, we will get down into the lower sixes, but we're not seeing anything getting into the fives like we were hoping for. So you're going to be somewhere in that 6% range, somewhere in the mid to maybe low end would be us being pretty excited and on good note if we see it get down to that sixes. So I would say if you've been waiting for rates to go down, you're not going to see a significant decrease. So I would say at some point, if numbers make sense, just jump right in. Now, as far as the job growth, well, Louisiana is set to add 2 million new jobs by 2026. That's beautiful. That's what we want to see. Lafayette is truly benefiting from the energy, the healthcare, the tech sector expansions that we're starting to see in the area. So those are really, really exciting numbers, and it really speaks to the future and the growth that they're expecting in this area. Now, what about the home prices? Of course, national home prices are projected to continually to rise 2% annually, while Lafayette could see anywhere from 3 to 4% appreciation due to the increasing demand in the area. So that's exactly what we want to see for a healthy growing city. Of course, the local residents may not love that, other than the fact of if they already are sitting still on a property. Yes, we want to see appreciation of those, but people moving in, taking over, making everything more expensive. I know some people may not love that, but I know as a young person and somebody who wants to see the city continue to grow and thrive, 1,000% I'm behind it. I hope you are too. But we have a pretty bold prediction for this last one. I would say is that buyers will adjust to the new market reality, and the pent-up demand will drive a surge in home sales as 2025 continues to move on. And I can say for a fact that the first quarter, my phone has been ringing a lot more than it did in 2024, in the fact of I have a lot of existing home owners that have been calling me, telling me they want to sell, they want to purchase. So there is a lot more movement. I am excited about the spring market. I do think we're going to see a lot of activity this year because of people that really sat on the sidelines. They waited for the election and all the things to happen. And so I think because of that, that pent-up demand is going to move people to see, hey, this is the new reality. This is where the rates are. It's really not that bad when we look at history, and we see historically when rates were all the way up past 10%, we got as high as 18%. So when you really count the numbers, you can really say it's a blessing we're not seeing those types of numbers because that would be really, really high and make your notes almost unaffordable. But Home values are rising, mortgage rates are shifting, the job market opportunities are expanding. So, what does that mean for you as a buyer or seller? Well, let's go deeper into Lafayette's trends. So, let's talk about the infrastructure and development projects that are going on. We know I-49 connector, they have been talking about the expansion and the approval of that for years. And we know finally they are beginning to break ground. We are starting to see some construction happen with that. It is a $1.2 billion expansion in making Lafayette's connectivity and the economic growth just much better. And we're starting to see lots and lots of construction in all those areas, making nice bridges, better intersections, nice and smoother rides in all those locations. So we love to see all of that happening. That expansion is definitely going to make it much easier to connect Lafayette through Broussard all the way down to New Iberia. And then, of course, getting you all the way up into the Karen Crow Sunset area. Now, downtown really has some smart growth initiatives. We're seeing many mixed-use spaces, more pedestrian-friendly areas, right? Places that people can hang out and walk to. And business incentives are really starting to attract residents and investors. We're seeing older buildings being torn down, and they're bringing in new mixed-use places, right? We love to see those types of areas where people can have places to live up top. Down below, we'll have some nice shops, different maybe gym spaces, areas to hang out, places to shop. That's what we want to see in a downtown thriving area, because people don't mind having some apartment life maybe, and they don't want all the upkeep, but they want all the amenities to be right within reach. So that's the beautiful thing we can see coming up for downtown. So that makes it really exciting. Public transit upgrades. We're seeing some investments in the bus rapid transit system. Believe it or not, our bus system actually gets a really pretty high rating just for being convenient and also being available on time, and nice clean buses that operate well. And of course, bike friendly initiatives. They are constantly looking at how can they improve access and accessibility on the street. There's bike lanes and safe places for people to be able to ride, because we know that absolutely not only helps the amount of cars in the street, but the pollution, and it's just better overall. You can be much healthier riding a bike, right? Now, let's talk about the economic part of this. So the impact on these property values. Well, areas near major infrastructure projects typically see anywhere from a 10 to 15% in appreciation in their home values over time. Now, that's talking about historically or looking at it as a whole across the country. When you see economic booming in a certain area, that's where properties really start to rise. And we've seen that happen in Youngsville. When you look at it, the fastest growing city here in Louisiana, and you've seen prices over the years really start to rise. It went from a country area that has some of the hottest school districts and some of the hottest locations. People are really, really flocking to those types of locations because of that. Now, the potential economic risks that we can see. Well, rising interest rates, of course, are always a risk. If the interest rates go up, we can never predict what's actually going to happen. If I had that foresight, obviously, I'd be a millionaire, being able to tell you exactly where the rates are going. And then, of course, national economic uncertainty could impact buyer confidence, right? We've seen President Trump inputting different new regulations and making a lot of changes within government. We've seen tariffs becoming a thing, right? So we don't know what that's going to do on the prices of, let's say, different home furniture, building items that builders need to get. All of those things having tariffs on it could make the home prices rise. Homeowners that are putting new appliances in, just anything that we really get imported for home construction, all of those things start to trickle down to the consumer. So, of course, those things could cause some uncertainty for people and not much confidence in how it will go. So how are we going to see these changes start to reshape Lafayette and its neighborhoods? Well, we're already seeing it happen, right? When we look at different strategic locations that are becoming more popular, more hotspots. Downtown, we know from just a few years ago, went from really not much happening down there to all of a sudden there's all these new thriving restaurants and everything going on. So really, when you start to see infrastructure change, things get a little bit better. That's when you see the booms of neighborhoods and new things start to come in. Maurice is another really happening spot. There's brand new healthcare that moved to that area. There's a new coffee shop. There's a new grocery store that moved in. So when you see all those things happening, of course, you start to see everything else rising. More subdivisions popping up. There's dealerships right there. There's a new school that's been put in, that new ARCA program. All of those things are really starting to boom the area. If you haven't heard of the ARCA schools that we've had, the Renaissance Academy, those are booming around town. We are seeing them in all strategic locations. It is a charter school school that is done by lottery. That is a really popular one. And the cool thing is now it's going to be available in different areas. You don't just have to be in Youngsville or in North Lafayette to be able to get access to it. But it's not just about highways. We're not just talking about new developments. It's about how these projects really are changing the way that people live, the way that they work, the way that you invest in Lafayette, right? So let's talk about some more key points about the zoning and development. Now, Lafayette is really encouraging higher density housing. We know that always happens with any city. As demand starts to rise, we run out of land. There's not enough space. So now they're looking at opportunities of maybe buildings that are a bit dilapidated, that are falling down and not great shape. Can we take those down and put something that is a bit more efficient, housing that's a little bit closer together, a little bit tighter? I know that's not something that works for everybody, but in the fact of we need more space and we need more things for people, it's the only option when you're trying to fit more people into an area. Of course, investment opportunities, short-term rentals are still thriving. Airbnb demand is still up 15% year over year. So of course that is still happening. We're also seeing more tourism, right? More people coming to the Lafayette area. I personally have many people reach out to me from my YouTube channel asking about the area and things that they've seen or questions that they have. So we love our tourists and we love people coming and experience Cajun culture for themselves. It's why people fall in love and want to move here. But with Lafayette's growth, we know short-term rentals, we're going to see boutique hotels also booming. There's new hotels that are popping up right now as we speak. And of course, all of those things are really going to see, more demand as that continues to grow. Now, from a buyer's advantage, right now we're seeing less competition. There's a chance to buy a house before the demand spikes. So I absolutely tell people before that hot spring market, because you will be up against a lot more people, there might be an opportunity now for you to get the perfect home for you. There's more options and people are not throwing a bunch of crazy prices all over the place. We're seeing sellers being more reasonable. They're giving closing costs. They're being more reasonable and flexible with their pricing. So I do think now is a great opportunity for buyers to get in before the demand continues to spike, especially if we see interest rates start to drop. Then you're going to really see a lot more people jumping into this market. Now, from an investor perspective, the rental market, it's still hot. We're seeing multifamily properties are in demand. Those are being scooped up, especially if they're in very hot areas near the school or near downtown, walkable areas where there's lots of exciting things. It's definitely still a rental market. And even single family homes, we're seeing a need for that as well. Not everybody wants to live in a townhouse and a condo. Some people want to rent a single family home. So even that is an opportunity to rent out a great property. Now, one thing to pay attention is the zoning changes and developments that start to happen. That really is the future. We know we've seen Airbnb being banned in certain parts of Lafayette. So you do have to be aware of some of the different movements and things that are happening. You need to stay up to date on these developments and what's happening, because those zoning changes can mean ruining your business if it comes to short-term rentals. Doesn't mean you can't do long-term buy and hold, right? Have somebody that's renting for a year or more. Short-term would be that Airbnb type turnstile home or those VRBOs, those vacation homes that people just come in and stay for a shorter period of time. So you need to be aware of those developments and those areas that are off limits now, that you're not able to do those things until that ban is either changed or lifted. But as of right now, we know it is still in action. Navigating Lafayette's market can truly be overwhelming. One wrong move, you could be overpaying for a house. You could be missing out on the right home. And that's why I put together a free market report with all of the critical insights that you need to know to make the right decision. Now, you can download it now, or you can call the number below and I will personally walk you through everything in that report. And of course, if you want a deeper dive, check out our video on the best places to live in Lafayette. It'll help you figure out where you should be looking. And again, thank you for tuning in. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next video.